Hello there, and welcome to Not Another Sci-Fi channel. I am Valley, and this is 8 things to look forward to in a Star Trek future. Number 1. A scarcity-free world. By far, one of the greatest advantages of living in Gene Roddenberry's version of the future is the fact that hunger, poverty, disease have all been eradicated on Earth, and for the most part in the Federation as a whole. With cheap and abundant power generation, be it matter-antimatter reaction, fusion, and a myriad of other, shall we say, Clarktech available in the Federation, the basis of a rich and prosperous society is firmly laid. Having all that power available to them, citizens of the Federation make use of an incredible piece of technology, the molecular synthesizer, aka the replicator. This technology used matter-energy conversion to dematerialize matter and rematerialize it in another form whenever needed. In essence, when you wanted a pizza, a burger bigger than Peter's worst nightmare, a piece of clothing, a drink, and a myriad of other things, you just pushed a few buttons or gave some voice commands and presto, instant stuff and food. Oh, and just kidding about PETA. Since having the molecular synthesizer, animals are no longer farmed for the slaughterhouse. So I guess in the end they won, but also that means that butchers are no longer around. So do we feel bad for all those butcher families who are now left without an income? It's the future. Money no longer exists in the 23rd century. And of course, an industrial version of these synthesizers exists for the more large-scale projects, such as construction, shipbuilding, heavy weapons production, and so on and so forth. Number 2. A truly equal society. When Zephyr Cochrane made his warp flight that led to first contact with the Vulcans in 2063, humanity, realizing they are not alone, came together in a way never seen before. They basically said, that's it. We need to be a team. No more of this stupid war, infighting, genocide, and etc. We will be visiting other worlds. We need to look apart. So from now on, it's the one-piece silver suit with the V-neck and the boots, or something to that extent. And after solving the problems of Earth, you know, the old wars, genocides, disease, inequality, poverty, pollution, and making some technological advancements at the speed of plot compared to other races in the galaxy, the pesky humans had an idea, born out of the need to protect themselves from the scheming and conniving Romulan Empire, made a defensive military alliance with the Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellarite. After careful deliberation, humanity decided to go all hippie on the galaxy and proposed a new interstellar alliance composed of semi-autonomous planetary governments under a single democratic central government based on the principles of universal liberty, inalienable human rights. Think about that for a second. Equality and justice, and of course sharing of resources, peaceful cooperation, scientific development, and most importantly, space exploration. Kind of like a mix between the EU and US today. Number 3. A smart and science-oriented population that values knowledge and exploration. Since we already pointed out that scarcity was eliminated, the acquisition of wealth is no longer the driving force of humanity. Federation citizens needed a new way of one-upping each other. So the prestige of holding a high station, of making a new discovery, of exploring a new part of space became the new obsession of the day. Thus, a career as a scientist or explorer were quite the vocational calling of the day. Education was so valued that at some point, when the Federation seemed larger than life and nobody could oppose them, they even had schools in their big battleships. I mean, exploration ships, of course. And kids were even encouraged to get hands-on experience in Starfleet, such as the case of that young, handsome ensign who got to pilot the Federation flagship at the age of 15. 15, come on. This nepotism kind of looks bad on the whole equality thing we just discussed. Anyway, moving on. Number 4. A wide variety of exotic foods and drinks. The Federation originally started as the Coalition of Planets, with 4 member races that controlled multiple star systems. But as time moves on, more and more races and planets join. As we get to the 2370s, the Federation swells up to over 150 member planets, all with their own unique culture and culinary experience, not to mention the other empires and trading partners that are present in the galaxy, and the cultural and culinary exchange going on there. Now, I myself try weird local food wherever I go, but my favorites by far are pizza and seafood. Now, in the Federation, things are taken to a whole new level. For practical purposes, I cannot list all the exotic cuisines here, but we will go through some examples. The first weird, exotic, and disgusting dish that comes to mind is that old Klingon delicacy, gach. This is basically a plate of still alive, swirling, slithering serpent worms. Some variants of this Klingon classic served in a stew, but for the hardcore space Anthony Bourdains of the galaxy, there is no substitute for fresh, lively worms. Are you a fan of bacon? If not, what about prosciutto? Pork chops, anyone? Well, the culinary explorer of the future will have all these human favorites in a new space pig form. aka the Targ. Another staple of the Klingon Empire, these wild space boars native to the Klingon homeworld of Kronos, who roam the planet in herds, are not just fat, tasty wild game to be enjoyed on the barbecue. They are also a collision hazard for Klingon ground vehicle. After the insurance companies and Kronos' financial district complained about all the credits they had to pay out as a result of these collisions, Targ scopes were added to ensure safe passage of vehicles. Let's move on to another corner of the galaxy and see another human favorite with a space twist. I mean space spice. I mean the spicy burrito found on Bajor, known locally as Hasperat. Now this Bajoran comfort food, when prepared correctly with a special brine, which was basically water and a lot of Bajoran salt, would cause your eyes to water and sear the tongue. Another variant of this dish is Hasperat souffle. Now that I think about it, who the hell turns a burrito into a souffle? Why would you do that? Anyway, moving on. For the seafood aficionado such as myself, a must-try delicacy is the Romulan jumbo mollusk, a gourmet delicacy that almost saw these little critters go extinct on Romulus until a new conservation law was passed under a Romulan praetor who is rumored to be vegan and banned all meat-based foods. Looks like future PETA is still at it. What if you are on a diet but still want to experience exotic alien dishes and find yourself a Vulcan restaurant and order a bowl of blue mix soup? This low-calorie, bland-tasting traditional Vulcan breakfast will have you dropping those Hasperat kilos in no time. Now, I don't want to make this a 2-hour cooking video, so we will revisit this particular subject in the future. But after all that food, how about a drink to satisfyingly end the exotic culinary experience? I recommend a highly illegal, expensive, and very intoxicating alcoholic beverage, which has future smugglers making a killing on the interplanetary black market, that gorgeous blue Romulan ale. But for a more mundane and easily accessible choice, I would recommend Ricean wine. Number 5. Incredible vacation destinations. I already mentioned that there were over 150 planets in the Federation, and adding the considerable number of colonies and outposts, you will be spoiled for choice when it comes to choose a vacation destination, given the fact that transport for Federation citizens, in all intensive purposes, is practically free. You just need to pack up a suitcase and hop on the first transport or freighter to the chosen destination. Well, having replicators everywhere, I guess you don't need the suitcase. Just strap on a pair of space Nikes and do it. One of the most visited vacation hotspots in the Federation was the planet Risa, as a famous quote went something like this: "This place is called Risa, and believe me, Captain, it's a paradise. Warm, tropical breezes, exotic foods, nothing to do but sit around all day." Now, in the recent past, Risa was not a nice place to visit. It was battered by rain and hurricanes, earthquakes were a daily occurrence, and most of the planet was covered by vast jungles and the creepy crawlers that inhabited them. But sometime in the 22nd century, when the technology permitted, the Rysian people made a decision to build advanced weather control systems, seismic regulators, and all sorts of fancy gadgets like that, and terraformed their world a bit into the tropical paradise it is today, with endless pristine beaches and constantly desirable weather. The hospitality of the Rysian people was also renowned through the galaxy, making them one of the few places in the galaxy with a 5-star Yelp review. Paradise and hospitality aside, there was another very important reason Risa was so popular. That being sex, of course. The native Rysians were very open about sexuality. It was nicknamed the Pleasure Planet after all. So have no fear, my nerdy Trek brothers. There's hope for us in getting laid in the future after all. Another popular destination for the cultural explorer type tourist that wants a journey of discovery was Vulcan. Ah yes, filled with volcanoes, a thin atmosphere, a high gravity, and populated by a race of emotionally repressed meditating Buddhist type monks, boasting a wide variety of cultural landmarks, museums, and galaxy-renowned space academy, all situated in a harsh, punishing environment. Vulcan is the perfect place for a spiritual journey and a lot of exercise. But what if you don't like hot climates and are more into skiing and dog sledding? Well, look no further than Andoria, an icy, barely M-class moon orbiting a gas giant with an average temperature of below freezing, its inhabitants living in the underground cities connected by thousands of kilometers of tunnels, and boasting a large number of ice hotels. When Andorians venture to the surface, a popular saying is, "Taste that air." Really gets the blood running. And of course, then there is the most important planet in the Federation, the seat of the presidency and the Federation Council, headquarters of Starfleet Command, etc, 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 Earth. Ah yes, the pale blue marble that humans call home. This being a segment on exotic destinations, and arguably the only example on our list we all know pretty well, I will leave Earth for its own separate video. Number 6. Everybody plays a musical instrument or has a part-time acting career. This stereotype of the evolved human was really hammered home in the TNG series. In all fairness, not having to worry about where your next meal will come from, not having to go in the rat race of accumulating financial wealth, living in a safe, secure society where abundance is the norm, people will have a lot of free time and energy. It's not unreasonable for us in the near future to do the same. Having our hobbies and passions on par with our careers and the freedom to do what we want when we want will be a breath of fresh air and a liberating state for the human spirit. Just imagine a future where your hobby, say making videos, becomes your career. It's a recent realization and a very encouraging trend we see happening where people are no longer accepting the fact that they have to be stuck in a dead-end job, doing things they don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things they don't like doing. The people of the Federation take full advantage of the state of affairs in the future and have the time and opportunity to learn to play their favorite instrument, board, take drama lessons, and a myriad of other activities. Number 7. No more flat earthers. I will be honest, this is a pet peeve of mine. I know most people in the movement are trolling, and good trolls they are. I respect that, especially because I like a good troll myself every now and then. But in the future, citizens of the Federation will be able to take a shuttle from Earth to go and visit the moon, or Luna as it will be called in the future, as easily as we would take a train to visit a nearby city today. Be it for a stroll around Lake Armstrong or a night of partying in New Berlin, the capital of low-gravity belly dancing, featuring an incredible performance of Orion girls every Saturday. On that short shuttle trip, it will be very hard for even the most outspoken and stubborn flat earther to hide in the corner and not look out the window, where lo and behold, Earth in all its roundness can be observed. Number 8. Pornhub's premium holodeck membership. The holographic environment simulator, commonly referred to as the holodeck, is the ultimate VR environment of the future, making use of photons and force fields to create a real-life simulation of, well, whatever you wanted really. Being able to recreate the outside world in a room that can be programmed to your personal specifications can have some rather interesting applications. You can spend a few hours recreating the Battle of Britain or the Last Stand at the Alamo, simulate scientific experiments and probability outcomes, provide a realistic training platform for combat, be it space or hand-to-hand, testing the command ability of young officers, aiding engineers and designers in their never-ending pursuit of new developments. But all of this pales in comparison to the possibility of getting a premium membership for the Pornhub series of holo novels. These, as you can imagine, are very popular with Federation citizens, with the most viewed series being Stepsisters Adventures on Risa, Kinky Alien Lesbians, and Umox for Homo Sapiens. Well, that concludes our series of things to look forward to in a Star Trek future. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and all that jazz. Till next time, live long and prosper.